Hello and welcome to Anime Animosity. We're back for another review of the week's anime that came out. Week 8. Let's get into it. So, first we have Deate Gobyo the Battle, and the first thing I noticed this episode is there are a lot of shots of Akira, our main character, where he doesn't look like himself. His face shape, hairstyle, eyes change. Even sometimes it's not huge, but it's noticeable. But he changes between shots, and it's quite strange. There's also some abhorrently terrifying CG. Well, it's not terrible, but it's not great CG. But yeah, other than visual stuff, this episode's actually not too bad. We get to see Akira's ability being used more creatively, which is, interesting, and I look forward to seeing how things play out with that in the future, especially with Yuri, given that she now knows what his real ability is. And also, well, yeah, we now know more about how his ability works. I don't have high enough IQ to bother to explain it. If you've watched the show, you'll know because you'll have seen the episode and the show explains it to you there. But I can't be asked to explain it now, so go check it out for yourself. Yeah, all in all, not a bad episode. And that's just how it is. Next, we have Seirei Gensoki. So, Ryo's looking even more and more like Kirito. And will we ever see original character designs in our protagonists for Isekai? Well, yeah, because there are non-Kirito lookalikes. Like, they just are. I mean, there's Rudius from Mushoku Tensei, but then again, the original story for that is older. But, so maybe I'm wrong, but look, there are non-Kirito lookalikes. Hell, Rimuru this season. We have a slime. Anyhow. So, Ryo makes it to Yagamo this episode, and he arrives at a village, talks to a chief, finds out that she's actually his grandmother. Ain't that nice for him? And we learn a tiny little bit about his parents, in that they both left Yagamo for unspecified reasons, which will presumably be touched upon in the future, and will cause perhaps conflict or instigate another arc later in the story. As for this, yeah, this episode does confirm one thing, and that is that the villains, quote unquote villains in this show, aren't going to be the best written, in that they're just people that are being shitty because we're bad people, people are painted in black and white, good and evil, yeah, the villains this episode were quite egregious in how just, yeah, we're gonna do scummy things, haha, monkey brain, initiate. And most of the bad characters have been like that. So far, at least. Hope maybe it'll change. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm, like, talking about something before, like, we get introduced to, like, the best, most in-depth and well-written villain of history ever, which won't happen. But maybe, who knows. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some better written villains at some point in the story. Yeah. Not a bad episode, but, I just talked about my main gripe with it. Okay, next we have Tsukimichi, which was an alright episode. It establishes the MC's non-magical abilities further, and that's one of the bigger things from this. Also, it makes it very clear that in this show, the world isn't black and white. It isn't divided up by good and evil. It's grey, especially as we find out at the end of the Rembrandt mini arc that, the Rembrandts were also, even though they were painted as like the company that the main character's helping and these good people, there is shady shit that is what got them into the position they're in. So yeah, it's a decent episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this show goes in the future and what it can do, because we haven't really had any like big like conflicts or crazy developments yet. It's just kind of been this really nice slice of lifey, well, quote unquote slice of life journey throughout the world, and don't get me wrong, I've really been enjoying that. But I wonder when the first like major event will take place. We'll find out soon, hopefully. So, next we have Peach Boy Riverside. And we're now back to the choice from episode 3. And as expected, it goes nowhere. The choice doesn't matter, really. So, I guess I called that. Other than that, some Oni attack the city. Sumeragi, who was like at the presumably quote-unquote leader of the Onis, apparently seemingly isn't actually an Oni, given that Sally's power won't trigger against him. Hawthorne gets saved by some witch, who I believe was mentioned before, I think in the last episode actually. But yeah, this episode was kind of meh, in my opinion. It dragged on quite a bit. So, yeah, pretty mid episode. And finally for this week, because I couldn't be asked to review the shows of the weekend, is Make You Black Company. And this episode was honestly a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. I don't think there's been a single episode of Make You Black Company I haven't enjoyed. And to be honest, that sums up the show as a whole. It is just really fun, and it's really, really enjoyable. Like, as I said, I haven't not enjoyed a single episode. So, this episode, we get a whole lot of info dropped on us, like how Rizaha will take over the world and the like. But that's not important, since Kinji is now back in the past to prevent her from doing that. But obviously, Kinji is Kinji. So, that's not going to happen, is it? In fact, we find out that's not going to happen right at the end of the episode, where Kinji's new goal is, well, if you watch the episode, you know, if not, spoilers, to, well, do it himself. And not let Rizaha do it. He'll take over the world. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes and how that'll play out. Yeah, really fun episode. Really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the next one. And with that, in fact, there is one thing I'm going to touch on before I finish, and that is Tantoemo Shinderu, where the past few episodes have been, for me, less interesting and less enjoyable. Now, I'm sure that when we get past, the past, and we know about all the details of what happened to Siesta, we'll be back onto, the present. But my thinking is that won't happen before the end of the season. Because we've not got that many episodes left, and, well, it seems like we're very thoroughly in the midst of the what happened to Siesta arc, if you want to call it that. But these episodes have been not as good. They felt kind of like there's something lacking a little bit in these past couple episodes that made the first few really, really good. And I'm not just talking about the Sakuga either, because there hasn't been much action these past few episodes either. But it just feels like in terms of the storytelling, like the atmosphere, there's something missing that the early episodes had that this one doesn't. We'll see if it carries on, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. Let me know if you're watching this and you got this far, what you think. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it this week. I've been Animosity, you've been you, and I'll get to you all next time for another video. Ta-ta for now.